welcome to We're Not Wizards. We are the best, but not wizards. Enjoy the show!
Airecon, we're con, they're on the chair con. This is We're Not Wizards. Chocolate might have it in it, depending again it's all down to them just filling the air. I'm sure they've got like a flower girl who goes around with her basket of flour and just throws it randomly into the air. And just says
she just likes to arrive and leave like a ninja, but she's obviously still working in a factory for Nestle, so she just does it with a bag of plain flour and just goes poof and just throws a handful in the air and appears.
She claps. She goes like that. She claps her hands and throws it into the air, and then she goes, "Guess where the gluten's gonna land?" And then that's it, and the gluten lands, and then they have to say, "Oh, is that flour fairy been in here again?"
So would that.
So, we have to...
Right, okay, so...
Right, we're getting into this now. This is about time we got serious.
So the level of potential contamination, again, it's going to be potentially small, I would imagine, at worst. Right?
Yes,
so
but...
how much impact would the amount of potentially small amount of gluten that could contaminate a normal Mars bar actually affect you versus the amount you shit yourself when you've read the price for that non-gluten Mars bar?
Right, okay, so the thing with also Mars bar as well is the actual kind of Mars bar filling as well has usually got some kind of malt in it. Usually some kind of malt extract, true. And that's usually something to give it a little bit of a kind of a bit more of a kind of almost like, it sounds weird, but a malty, meaty kind of flavour that you get, which is kind of serving you kind of yeah. So, welcome to We're Not Wizards. My name's Richard.
My name's Luke. The man who questions everything.
The man who questions everything at all. But I've got a question for you.
Oh, you're all right. Bloody, I've just looked up what popular chocolate bars don't contain gluten. You can have a Whisper, you can have a Crunchy, a Flake, everything Cadbury by the looks of it. They actually give a shit about you.
Yeah.
Oh, Smooth, Galaxy Smooth, Galaxy Ripple.
Yep.
Why are you buying expensive non-gluten knockoff Mars bars when you could have a normal...
Milk.
What?
Can't have milk.
You can't have milk?
It's not just gluten. It's not just gluten. It's milk as well. You know, I mean, we've been friends a couple of. You know, I was thinking we were friends for a little while now, but obviously not. You know, because I can't have milk. That's the whole clue. Delicious milk, chocolate. I mean, that's the clue right there.
I mean, it is fair that contains milk. Yes. So
it does contain milk, and that is literally worse than the.
You can't contain milk.
I can't. It's like you'd be literally like you'd have to put a cork in it. It's so interesting because the difference between like a milk, because I think it's a milk allergy, as opposed to a milk intolerance. So like a gluten-free going celiac is basically it's an intolerance, which basically means as soon as your body detects that there's gluten in your system, it goes on basically a white cell rampage. And starts releasing cells that attack the other cells in your body. So it's the ultimate definition of having a disease which kind of, I guess, is tied in with your own self-hatred. On the other side of it, a milk allergy is basically... A milk allergy is your body reacting to the protein in the milk or the fat or whatever receptors. And the difference between... I'd say the difference between celiacs and the difference between celiacs and milk is probably about 15 minutes. basically, in terms of time. Like, if I have milk, it's like literally my body is just like, nope, let's get rid of this quickly. It's like turns me into a stainless steel tube where it just pours out the other side. That's absolutely horrible.
I just looked up. I just changed my Google search to what chocolate bars don't contain gluten to contain gluten or milk. The list is far less exhaustive than the previous list.
Yes, it's probably about 5.
No.
Turkish Delight always comes up.
Turkish Delight's fucking
There's
awful.
nothing really. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Turkish Delight is
you know what pisses me off about Turkish
interestingly enough,
Delight? Turkish Delight.
Right, tell me.
It's absolutely awful. It tastes like an old lady's perfume bottle fell into a packet of sweets.
It's rosewater.
But
yeah.
In the old BBC line of The Witch in the Wardrobe, you know when she gets a bit pervy and offers the kid sweets and get him a van. Yeah.
Yeah, she offers Edward,
Exactly.
Edward, would you like some Turkish Delight? For some reason that turns his head.
That Turkish Delight could not have looked more inviting and delicious if it tried. It looked unbelievable.
It was amazing.
Old pervy white witch got him in the
this.
van with it, you know. Mate,
You
yes you can. Line the Witch of the Wardrobe
Yes,
is pervy as hell.
Yes.
Because she gets him in the van with sweets, which you're always told not to do. It is not right at all. There's a lot of nonsense that goes on the second anybody steps through that friggin' wardrobe.
I'm back. I was back from Airecon.
You went to Harrowed Gate to slumber in the beautiful Cairn hotel.
It was. I've got some.
Let's ignore Airecon as such for a second, and let's ignore Airecon because one of my favourite. You know, I'm very gutted that I missed Airecon as much as I was so close to going, and then it all got swept away at the last couple of days.
I can't. My biggest issue with Airecon and you not going was the fact I didn't find out. My reaction to hearing you weren't going to Airecon was quite literally on the episode where we were discussing about us going to Airecon and genuinely.
I had warned you before that I wasn't.
You had warned me, but I thought I was secretly in my heart of hearts. I was
He'll
like,
make it work.
It's going to be some
He'll
kind
make it work.
He'll
He
make
can
it
do
happen.
anything, that guy.
He'll make it happen. He just can achieve anything. I've seen the videos that he puts up. It's personal bests all the way. I didn't think it was going to be that much of a personal best to get yourself kind of up here and seeing me, but obviously it doesn't matter. So, right, the Cairn Hotel.
Yeah, so missing Airecon right. And missing yourself was definitely a low, but not getting to stay in the Cairn Hotel is there's always a gem or two that you walk away from the Cairn Hotel with.
Okay, so first of all, right, me and Paul, good old Mr. PC, and he's not because he's politically correct, because his initials are PC, literally PC. I mean, the last thing you would say is he's PC.
It's a shame. It's a shame he never was in the police force, because he could have been PC.
PC, it would have been amazing.
Which would have made him sound like a sort of
force just for even 6 months.
It would have made him sound like an antiseptic cream from the 80s.
PC. Have you got your double PCs on? Remember, if you've got a graze or a scratch, double PC.
I didn't quite like the smell of TCP, was it?
And TCP was amazing. I don't know. It was it was one of those things. It was like if you had a cold. I don't know. It's probably one of these things that they went, actually, this causes huge amounts of abnormal cells if you keep rubbing it on yourself.
I still remember.
And they quietly.
You know when you used to get those real proper metal foily tubes? Not like now where they're plasticky or whatever. I still remember the old tube of TCP that we had. And I'm pretty sure that TCP looked like it came from the 30s. This tube.
You had these things for years.
Yeah.
There wasn't any sell-by dates.
You only ever used a little pea-sized thing of it. It was basically a toothpaste tube of this stuff. It
used to be left to people in a will.
My mother's probably still got that frigging tube of TCP somewhere.
And to my eldest son, I leave my tube of TCP, which was passed to me by my father and his father before. Yeah, I mean, there's probably TCP in America that made it over in the Mayflower.
This is the tube.
This
is the tube of TCP we were given on our wedding
hotel.
day.
It's the TCP my mother wore. And now I hopefully you give it to your potential wife when you propose, and get her to wear the TCP ring on her finger.
Right, I've derailed us 3 times now.
Bit of
Cairn
drama. Bit of drama at Cairn Hotel. Anyway, we're back in the... And 1, 2, 3, you're back in the room. Cairn Hotel.
Drama?
Bit of drama at the beginning. Well, the drama at the beginning is... so we go to the desk. Paul's a savage. Paul's a savage gent. I mean, he's been looking at the hotel prices for the Cairn Hotel since April 2025, where he went, right, we're going to go back this again. Let's see what we can get sorted out. And that's what he did, because he's a good man. So we go up to... So he's been monitoring the prices, and when we first went to book the hotel, I think it was something like £400 or something. I was like, oh, that's steep. But, cost of living crisis, you expect prices to go up. So he's consciously going on booking.com. He phones them up and says, here's a good deal. We got a good price. We eventually got it for the 3 nights for like £290. The figure of £290 is important. We check in. It's a fairly kind of non-eventful kind of journey down. There wasn't the horrible roadworks that there was up to the Cairn Hotel like there was last time. We check in.
Oh yeah, there was loads of roadworks last year, wasn't there? Ended up coming to Harrowed Gate from a different direction. I didn't know where the hell I even was.
I almost came into Harrowed Gate from France. But there was this moment, right, where the guy goes, right, so that'll be £270. And Paul looks at me. Because it's cheaper. And I'm just like this. I'm not saying nothing. I'm not.
So
Paul,
just like when you go up to the till with your new coat, you're really happy. Oh God, it's like 60 quid. I've loved this coat. It looks great. And they go, so cool. That's £35, please. And you're like, shh. Yes,
and
it is.
And they're like, so we're worried. Yeah, it is. So there's the card. So we paid 270 quid. We're happy days because we're both like, that's 2 of us. That's like 135, and we're thinking about all the additional games that we can get. Wonderful. And that's still including your breakfast and everything like that. So it's like next to nothing. Do you know what I mean? 135.
Bargain.
3 nights including breakfast. That's an absolute bargain. Absolute bargain. So we go up there, and this time we're on the 3rd floor. And you feel like you're climbing up the 3rd floor. We get into the lift, there's a sign in the lift that says the lift may or may not be broken, the sensors aren't working properly and stuff like that. The long and the short of it is, after the 2nd day, they basically came out and says, we can't let you in the lift anymore because literally you're going to get locked in for hours. And this was all fine. I'm jumping ahead of myself a bit, but it's a good story, so I'll crack on. Saturday night. Well, Friday night, we didn't get back till goodness knows 19 Canteen. We decided, you know what I mean, we're going to crash on through and keep playing games, which we did. Saturday night, we decided after the day of Saturday being quite a tiring day, because we're obviously not young men anymore, and we kind of like shouldn't have stayed up that long. We go back to the hotel. We have to climb up the stairs now because the lift's broken. Then... This is probably approaching 1:15 in the morning. We're both pretty tired and trying to get sleep. 2:00 in the morning, on the Sunday morning, the fire alarm goes off. Proper big style. Now, I don't know about you, right? But the rules and regulations regarding fire alarms are quite simple. Is the fact that you have to kind of like, you don't you dare stop and collect any belongings. Get some clothes on, get yourself downstairs, get yourself into the car park. No chance to me. I'm not going down with any wobbly bits showing and giving whoever else is in the hotel an eyeful. This is not happening. I get fully dressed, I've got my jacket, I've got my shoes and everything like that. You got to recognise at this point that the stairs are the only way down. There's 1 flight of stairs down the whole hotel to get out.
There's 2, but yeah.
And who's climbing down the bottom of the stairs first? It's like there's like a group of old people that have come in. It turns out they'd come in from Southern Ireland. So this octogenarian woman making her way, she looks like, do you remember Titanic and Old Rose?
It's been 83 years.
You remember Old Rose who sticks she sticks the bracelet over the side of the Titanic with a diamond in it. This woman looks like Old Rose. She's got the old nightie on. She's got like a cardigan on. She's not got any shoes on. don't know how she's not getting shoes on. She's going at a snail's pace. A snail's pace. Now I'm wondering. I'm thinking to myself, she's probably had her time.
Yeet.
She's probably had a
Yeet her
good
over the
innings.
banister.
I was like, just wondering, would it be rude, right? Because the stairs are obviously built for 2 people. Would it be rude to kind of like see as she's holding up everybody? Because everybody, you can hear them going, right, we got to get out. You know, the fire engine at this point is turning up. Blues and twos are outside. Oh my goodness. Now I'm wondering whether we should just shuffle past her and just, you know, let her fight it out. Get into the car park. By this point, it's clearly aware there's no smoke at all in the building. There's no flames erupting here. I'm quite grumpy when I get woken up in the middle of the night, so I said that I'd rather 2 o'clock, woken up at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's now 2:15, the fire engine's at the front. The firemen, God bless them, they're out, they're going to be having a look, you know, which obviously makes certain people go, no. I mean, fine looking men, that's fine. Anyway, as I'm walking down to the car park, I don't really quietly mutter under my breath, but it's literally translates to which one of you motherfuckers had a cigarette. And so it transpires basically that at 2 o'clock in the morning, somebody decided, because the lift wasn't working, that what they were going to do is they were going to open up the top line window in the hotel and have a cigarette, not realising the laws of physics is when you open up a window at a high level, it's more likely the air is likely to blow in as opposed to blow out, which caused the fire alarm. And then the next morning, it gets better, we implicated ourselves in a mini murder.
What?
Because we're getting served by the waiter, their waitress. I was like, oh, did you hear about the kerfuffle last night? Because I know that some of the waiters, as we've already established I'm not sure all of them are kind of like, maybe not kind of like here through their own, not under here the
Cairn hotel slave
But
trade.
anyway, that's in it. Yeah, basically, it's not like anything like that, but it's close. And we kind of say, some night, 2 o'clock. I says, it was somebody having a cigarette in the room, wasn't it? And they went, yes. Well, no, I can't say that. But they're kind of shaking and nodding their head at the same time. And it's like, that's definitely. Well, I'll tell you what, we're quite tired and we've got to spend it, we're going to be travelling soon. It's going to be a tiring day. All we want is the room number. You just tell us 3 digits, just write it down, put it on a napkin. We'll take care of it. By the way, we're travelling up to Scotland, and we're going to be passing some hills and dales and moors and stuff like that. We got a couple of shovels in the back. We could quite easily get rid of the person for you. It's not a problem at all.
There's some heather that could do with some natural fertilising carbon. Yeah.
Everybody's laughing and joking at this time. And then about 10-15 minutes, I realise that if something happens to somebody...
It'll be...
And the police turn up.
From 323, they made it very clear they were going to kill someone.
Exactly, these guys were 328. Exactly, these guys 328. They were in. What are they talking about? Oh, they're talking about they've got a car full of like shovels and they've got an ability to get rid of a body very, very quickly. So that was that. It's absolutely fabulous. It's still like turning into like it is quite literally like moving. I'm thinking it's closer to like 1896 at the moment. It was amazing. The breakfast is still absolutely fantastic. And they did like gluten-free toast, and they came up and they said like you get like it's really funny because it's like I just asked for a single slice of toast because I don't want anything, and then Paul asked for toast, and they bring out literally half a loaf of bread, toasted. That's what they do. You get about 15 slices of the thing. He's just looking at it, going, "How the hell am I meant to even eat this? Where do I approach this from?"
One thing I love about the Cairn Hotel, and he says everything about the expected level of clientele, is that at the breakfast there is a big bowl of prunes in juice. It says everything you need to know as to what their target audience is. Bless them.
There was absolutely a group from Southern Ireland there, because when we walked in on that Saturday night, at whatever time, 1:45 in the morning, there was basically a band, a lot of old people sitting around. One of them was on a fiddle, one of them was on a guitar, and they were singing some kind of... And I tell you, I do know how to sing, but I wouldn't necessarily think that like getting every 1 1/3 note in tune is necessarily going to make you a well-known singer. This person was like, it was like they were playing darts with the chromatic scale or whatever, just like chucking a thing and hoping they were hitting the right note. It was absolutely amazing, and it was like the typical kind of thing. But no, that was the Cairn Hotel, which obviously we have to go back again. You know, I'm thinking I just have to go back there again on holiday just to see if it's the actual same. And then obviously the Airecon stuff. Now I've got a question for you. Okay.
I'm listening.
Because this came up. So I got the press pass.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And the press pass. Me and Paul went down. I gave him. Obviously, he had your press pass because you weren't here. So we walked down and we thought, and we read the site and it says like if you've got a press pass or exhibitor pass, you'll get in early. So what we did is we timed it. So we're rocking down at like 9:25. We get to the door. We're like obviously we feel like we're at the Hollywood club line kind of thing, and the bouncers are just letting you in.
Let the velvet rope, unattach the velvet rope. So we do
the back. Yeah, we just untuck the velvet rope, in you go. And so you can imagine there's 150 people in front of us kind of looking at us like, who are these people? Obviously not going, who are these fantastic examples of the human race getting let in early? And of course, and then guess what happens is like, you know how the entrance is all kind of like got a lovely kind of series of glass windows which people can see in, right? So we get our bag check, open it up, the guys are like da-da-da-da. And then we go in the hall. And the guy, the job's worth, goes, oh no, it's not half past yet. So we have to stand in the kind of the foyer with quite literally a couple of hundred people staring at us going, who do you think you are? And then it's like 28 minutes past. It's like, can we not just go in? And the guy waited until half past to kind of let us in. And I get it. But it's just like, go and let us in. Gosh, let's. So we made our way to the table at the very, very back, which was good fun. I then decided to say hello to people as they went past, and I said good morning, and folk were saying good morning, and it was good. On occasion, I picked somebody whose name I could read, and I went morning, Dave, and a couple of times the people that I named stopped and then did that kind of, do I recognise you kind of face. They kind of went, oh yeah, how you doing? And, and it was like that awkward kind of like, you don't know me at all, do you? And then they realised they got a name badge and they moved on. And somebody did actually say, oh, I thought I knew you. And then it turns out that you just read my name badge. So, you know, that was kind of good fun. But speaking of name badges, what does this say?
RKHARD.
My friends Sam and Chris, who from the Staying In podcast that we met, saw me, looked at my pass, and then said, why are you calling yourself RKHARD? Are you some kind of...
Yeah, it says that too.
Rapper?
Yeah. What it doesn't say, is Richard.
Yeah. That says Richard.
No.
How does that not? I'm going to put a picture of this in the show notes.
Your
so people
eye
can
and your C are far too close together, and you can see that full well, and you know they are.
There's nothing wrong. My eyes are not too close together. Don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
What would you like to know? What would you like to know? Because I don't want to be just like.
What was the press event like?
What was the press sitting there going? It was. It's weird. Asmodee. No, it wasn't. It was like kind of people who knew each other, and they kind of like talked to each other. And it was a chance. I got a chance to kind of like speak to. I got 5 minutes with like Rory at Zatu Games, which was fun. Spoke to a couple of other people from Zatu as well, and then Rob Trounce turned up. You know, he's delightful man. So speaking to him, just talked to a couple of people here and there, but I think it was kind of like a strange mixer event. It wasn't a case that I got the feeling that last year it was a case that people had their stuff kind of set up, or there were people that were definitely kind of going around kind of chatting about things. And I felt like this time it was more of a mixer. There wasn't kind of like a a definite kind of any kind of organised
It felt like that last year too.
I mean, Mark obviously was.
I thought it was just like a mixer last year.
Yeah, I didn't get the feeling that it was that many people pitching. It was more of a case of people kind of catching up with each other that kind of knew each other, which is fine. I always got the feeling that I think the press events and these things should always be about, we're publishers, developers, designers, and we're looking to kind of speak to people who want to chat to us. But I think the people that go to Airecon are the people that go to Airecon, if that makes sense. And I think that this is probably far more informal than UK Games Expo is ever going to be, because I always get the feeling that UK Games Expo for the press stuff is definitely...
Oh, it's very regimented, yeah.
It's very kind of, this is what we're going to be doing at kind of like the press event. So.
Have you ever been to the press event at
Yeah. No.
Oh, no, it's real big. Real big. Yeah. It's...
Yeah. So... Yeah, it was nice. There was lots of, people having the little kind of conversations, and that Mark was kind of handing out the kind of the beer. Interestingly enough, Asmodee did not hand out any kind of goodie bags. Mm-hmm. Now, last year they kind of came out and they had like goodie bags for everybody with Star Wars stuff and things like that as well, and that was all kind of lovely and wonderful and stuff like that. And this year they were strangely kind of quiet. On a couple of fronts, actually, because I went and spoke to them, and I'm going to mention this before I forget, basically, which is there was a distinct lack of any kind of big push for Star Wars. Last year it was very much, there was a lot of come and play Star Wars and stuff like that, which I thought was quite interesting, because literally the week before Airecon happened, there was the latest kind of set of decks that came out for Star Wars Unlimited. And I spoke to... Jump to Lightspeed or whatever just come out, wasn't it? Yeah, there was it was like something like that, and I think the latest one is coming out.
That's just come out as well.
I can't remember yeah, it's not come out, but there was absolutely nothing at the Asmodee stand. There wasn't nothing at all. Now, last time Jump to Lightspeed, they were handing out kind of when they were handing out kind of like goodie bags and stuff like that, or any stuff they were handing out, first player markers for it and stuff like that. They were generally making you aware of it as well. And when I spoke to somebody at Asmodee, they said, look, we've been given nothing at all to promote Star Wars Unlimited at all, which is a strange thing, because I was in the town today and I went into Waterstones, and there was a big huge setup of it. So I don't know if it was just one of these things they didn't get the stuff to them in time or something like that. Maybe. But I don't know. It was just interesting that and it was. There's been a few changes to Star Wars Unlimited in that they've done their first kind of retirement of the first 3 decks for competitive play. So everybody's concentrating on Jump to Lightspeed and stuff like that now as well. So it just seemed kind of strange that there wasn't kind of like a fanfare. There was they had the huge Battle of Hoth set up, which was lovely to see, and there was even like Arkham Horror. There was an Arkham Horror table there, so we're trying to get people involved in Arkham Horror, which I understand from today you've taken a little dip. Oh, because
the Chapter 2 box is coming out, isn't it?
Arkham.
That's why they're doing that.
Yeah. Which, again, surprising to me is that they're talking about like the Chapter 2 stuff for Arkham Horror, but they've not got the latest kind of Star Wars stuff. Now, it could have quite simply been we didn't get the stuff to you in time because they're trying to fulfill kind of retail orders and retail copies. But the Star Wars Unlimited scene is still very, very very strong. So it's a bit kind of strange. But yeah, the all in all, I said hello to a few people that I knew. Ignored people I didn't like. Nah, I'm not like that. Did. But yeah, and yeah, of course, nothing wrong with that. And it was all kind of pretty good. Overall. I'm going to talk obviously about the games that we kind of played, but
before we get to the games, what was your least favourite role in your games of Blood on the Clocktower?
I tell you what, right? I went like, I thought I'd been glutenized because I went to the Matchums thing and I got myself some milk. Well, I got myself a coffee, but then I used the barista oat milk, which said gluten-free on it. And I thought, oh, I hope this is okay. And I used it. And then about half an hour later, I thought, oh, I'm a regular man. I know when I need to go. And so I kind of ended up having to take a quick
running from the knees down
walk.
job.
That kind of thing. And I tell you what, I got into I was lucky it was pretty early in the morning before it kind of got busy on the Saturday. And I walked in and turned around and I sat down, skiddled the trousers down to my ankles. And you'll never guess, but there was folk starting to get with blood in the Clocktower in there. Couldn't believe it.
You sat on the Games Master's
lap.
What
role do you want?
So you shat in the Games Master's lap.
What role do you want? I was like that. I don't know. I'll take any role just now if you want, as long as it involves a bit of toilet paper at the end of it, if you don't mind. That aside, those guys, I take it there was a lot of blood on the Clocktower on us always. The monkey pop-up boys. You've got to have a hammer. You've got to be knocking them down. They just appear bloody everywhere. They just pop up. Do you know what I mean?
It's the most blood on the
Clocktower
convention I've ever seen.
Oh, it's mad. It's like being a teenager and going, when's my next set of spots going to appear? And waking up in the morning and there's one here and then there's one down your lip and you go, no, that's an annoying one. They just appeared behind us. There was we sat in the same place as we did last year, Luke, at that end table basically. So behind us was the beer truck, which was nice. And then I looked round. It's like one of those horror movies where you look around and the place is clear and then you look back again. It's like Smile 2, where she turns on the light and all of a sudden there's all these dancers. That kind of scene, all smiling. And I turned round and all of a sudden there's a Blood in the Clocktower tour. Do you know what I mean? Tried to get some food at lunchtime. Blood in the Clocktower there. I mean, it was kind of everywhere. I just, I don't know. Have you ever even looked into Blood in the Clocktower? Do you even know?
Yeah. I love social deduction games, so I have no doubt I would really enjoy a game of Blood on the Clocktower with my friends. But to be honest, I think Blood on the Clocktower sounds massively overcomplicated and convoluted, and to be honest, so far up its own arse that it's pretentious for the sake of pretentiousness. I just don't think it's just bloated nonsense for the most part. I think for what it's trying to do. There was somebody going around with a cloak all the time. Oh, I saw that
the entire weekend.
Yeah, the irony
never
is
took the cloak off.
My favourite social deduction game now, second favourite social deduction game is Secret Hitler, which most Blood on the Clocktower players would probably absolutely abhor me for even saying the words, let alone playing the game. But I really like Secret Hitler. It works really well, and they kind of took the very simple. What was the bloody one that got almost all of us into social deduction? They did Resistance. It just took Resistance, that format, and then just made it a little bit simpler. They just cut out a lot of the bullshit, bits where you just didn't need. Secret Hitler works beautifully, and there's nothing there is nothing funnier than calling your friend a Nazi. It's just
just can't.
When you're just pointing at your mate over the room, over the side of the table, and going, "You're bloody Hitler, aren't you? You're Hitler. I bloody knew it. Don't you listen to him? He's fucking Hitler." It just works.
Shall we try and play it next year then? Blood in the Clocktower.
No. I'll only play a game like that. I'll only play a game with that, with people I know and people I like. I wouldn't play a social deduction game with a bunch of randoms and
I'm damn fancy.
And to be fair, Blood on the Clocktower players. Sadly, that's it's the sad truth of it.
I wouldn't want to be part of a club that would have me as a member or Blood in the Clocktower. which is one of the other. One of the things. Okay, so
we'll get into games you did play.
One of the things. Well, I was gonna skip the other thing I was going to talk about very quickly, which was very, very important to me, which was the food truck situation.
Sounded good.
Which they seem to get right very, very well this year, because
they kind of had to after last year's fiasco,
though,
didn't they?
Well, I think last year was still. Matchums were still very, very much on the kind of like, you cannot have any food in this hall unless it's been bought by Matchums, which was like, okay, that's fair enough. But then obviously everybody was playing the hidden movement game, which was, secretly moving our snacks into the Airecon main hall.
The biggest game of Sheriff
boxes.
of Nottingham was going on, basically. Everybody was sneaking in contraband.
So funny. Talk it like the first Friday morning when we kind of went in, and I was just like, and the guy was like, let's do it, let's do a bag check. Oh yeah, let's do a bag check. While like 75 people stare at me and say like, why is this scumbag managed to get in before everybody else? Press, okay, I'm pressed. But he says, oh, let's open up. So he opened up the Rebellion box. So he asked to see inside the Rebellion box, and I just went, look.
He asked to
No. He asked to see inside.
Oh, for God's sake.
Actually, in boxes. But I think this was Friday. I think by Saturday it was like, or even Sunday. I think it was like, do you know that video of that guy that's checking people into the football ground, and he's just like sweeping his hands past it? Because I think by that point they'd realised, look, if we ask everybody to open up at least one board game to see inside, to see if they're actually hiding any snacks. And the irony of the fact was, they weren't able to check your pockets. So I was like, everyone's like, I'll hide, I'll just... So I was like, I went up to the food truck and the food van, and like, I'd usually bring a can back with me, but I'd have the can in my pocket. I mean, they're not going to check it. They'd have a bag check, but by that time they didn't have a bag on you anyway.
Drinks and snacks you were allowed to bring in. It was like proper food you couldn't bring
in.
Yeah,
proper hot food. Proper hot food, yeah, fair enough. So I spent most of my time at Jimmy Mac's Street Food. I'm going to give them a shout out because they did the most fantastic kind of pulled pork, loaded fries and tacos kind of thing. And it was all gluten-free, dairy-free. I ate there probably about 4 or 5 times out of the possible times I could have eaten there for kind of like lunch and dinner, and just had... And it's like... It's just one less thing to worry about. When you get something that you know you can eat and it's not going to have an effect on you, then I'm just going to go back again and again and again because I know it's not going to have any effect on me. The first night we went back to Hallam's for the curry, which was lovely. Again, absolutely fantastic. Had far too much in terms of the curry. Ian.
Yeah, we went to the curry with him as well, didn't we?
Ian, yeah. We went to Hallam's, yeah. It was the same place we went to. We just went to the same place as last time. It was a good curry. But as with everything, prices were a bit higher than last year, so we ended up just hitting the food vans because like you were getting like a good meal and like a drink for about £14, and it was something that kind of like kept you going. But the food trucks were in between like the main hall event and the hotel. So basically you came out the main event, you just went up the hill slightly towards the hotel, and then they were all stationed out there, which was fine. One day it was a bit drizzly, but the rest of the time it was really, really sunny. And then they had opened up the bottom foyer of the hotel so you could go in like a ballroom situation. So it was all, it was really weird. It was like, it's like imagine being at like a wedding reception with all like the tables and white tablecloths and stuff like that, but everybody's sitting around with street food. And then what they had is they had the staff from the hotel coming up once you were finished and saying, are you finished with this, sir? And it's like, yes, you can take my empty cardboard carton of street food. And they were taking it away and they were putting it away somewhere. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, hats off to kind of like the way the food was done. It was definitely so much more better than it was done last time. Yeah, absolutely. Nice. Absolutely. Yeah, it was very, 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 it was very, very good indeed. So, I took part in a tag team tournament.
Oh, did you?
Out of
How did that work?
I
What was
decided,
how
because, well,
did you like preemptively have your two people, or did that change every game? Did you just play lots of games?
The first one was the first one is a learning game, because they were doing like a learning game first of all, because it was like an intro. They got everybody got the same kind of people, and then on the next game, it was just basically like a draft. So you just kind of drafted random people, and I played 3 games and I won 1, and I came out of 8 people. I came 6th. So I was absolutely delighted with that.
You came
Can't get happier.
6th out of 8.
6 out of 8 people. Because I'm never very good with these things, and I don't like, I'm here for playing games. I'm not necessarily here to win
I'm not
them.
competitive.
Is my philosophy. It's like, as long as we both have a good time at the end of the day, I don't care
that if I was in I know that I'm the sort of person that if I was in a tournament like that, which is a tournament that I'm just doing it for the fun of it, I don't care if I win as such. If I can tell that the person I'm playing really wants to win, and it's good. Yeah, I'll probably, for the most part, I know I won't be that. It's more because I don't want to see how bad a loser they might be. You know what I mean?
No, I don't. There's nothing worse than somebody that's obviously seriously
You want to see one of these middle-aged people have a fucking tantrum. There's nothing worse. It's so. It's so awful,
I think.
Did you get to play with the new tag team stuff? Avalon?
No.
No?
The new tag team stuff wasn't available, but I think they had some prizes so people could. I think that was one of the things that Hachette were kind of like unveiling, was allowing certain people to see the kind of the new tag team stuff. And that was, but it looks, I mean, tag team is one of those games which has moved very, very slowly up from being kind of like, oh, that's okay, to, I'm definitely going to play this because I know I'm going to have a good time. It just seems to kind of work really, really well. It's kind of back down to the kind of the asymmetrical power. So, so that was fun. So yes, games I played. Right. I met. I taught Curse Court on Friday night. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna call him out. My mate Terry. Terry does a podcast about. It's all about Crokinole. So it's he's got a fabulous. But Friday night, picture the scene, right? Me and Terry's like, coming up, I've decided, right, Friday night, might as well have myself a cheeky cider. So I have myself a cheeky cider, because I know it's gluten free, it's all going to be fine. Terry comes up to me, he's like laughing away and stuff like that. We're talking about the podcast and Crokinole and stuff like that. And he says, do you want a nip?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, okay. I've only had a cider, leave me alone. He says, no. So he brings out this thing that looks like it should have batteries in it, and he unscrews the top and he produces 2 little kind of lid things, and from there he pours us both a little dram, and I say thanks very much. So I go to sip it and he goes, no, down it. so I do that, because I'm not going to be intimidated by a Crokinole player who can flick discs into a hole 1.5 inches wide. I'm not scared by that, man. Then we're playing games, and I decide to unleash Curse Court, because I know what I'm doing. Didn't realise at the time that my brain was a little bit fuzzled after being tired and after playing board games for most of the day. Ivan Brett, who, as some people may or may not know, Ivan Brett from the Traitors joined us at the table.
Nice.
Oh yeah, it was nice, until I tried to teach people Curse Court.
How can you not teach Curse Court?
Right. Right, okay. So,
Is this after one whiskey?
yes.
Jesus
Yes.
Christ.
One whiskey and a cider. No, don't even go there. Right, okay, so guess what happens is I'm like, do you know how it's like everybody gets a secret card, yeah? And then, do you know, at the end of the round, we kind of show a card. This is ridiculous, because this is my, the game that I put in second place, the game for the year, almost game of the year like last year. And I was just like, what do I do? I'm quite tired. So we kind of let another public card go. And then what I do is I decide to collect all of the cards that were in between the players and put them on the grid. And then deal out another set of secret cards to everybody.
I mean, how? How can you fuck this up?
You can imagine. I know. I was gonna say I was gonna absolute incompetence. Needless to say, right? It was a quite high scoring game.
No shit.
I think we almost got to the end of the board.
Did you do that throughout all 3 years? You did that.
Well, yes. Well, no, because like Paul was looking at me at this point, like going, "What are you doing?"
Does he know how it?
So I managed to scale it. Oh yeah, he knows how to play it. He's played it tons of times. I don't know, because he wanted to be polite.
I assure you, had I been there,
yes,
I would have kicked you back through the foyer and then gone and taught it right.
So literally, this is what I've did. So we ended up getting a pretty big score, and we tried to roll it back for the rest of the game. And by that time, it was an absolute disaster. But everybody had the best time, and they said they were probably, while the rules weren't right, they were right for that time.
As long as you're, like I often say, when you get cock ups with rules or taught by a moron, one of the two. As long as you're all playing the same wrong rules, it doesn't matter. For the most part. There's probably some exceptions to that.
For the most part.
But for the most part, yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah, as long as you're all playing, as long as it's not one person was taught them wrong,
I don't think I could have made, and then I realised, and then from then on, it was like, that was like the first thing. There was RKHARD, which kind of went on the entire weekend. When you're going to drop in your next album, kind of thing. But the entire thing was, shall we play this? Shall we play? Because we played several games of Curse Court over the weekend, and various people said to me, are we playing the proper rules, or are we playing your special made-up rules?
So you did realise at the time, like, completely that you royally snorted it up.
Absolutely messed. Oh, this has just gone nuclear. I mean, this is not good. Not actually good at all. So then later on Friday, I was joined by Chris and Sam, and they were kind of parlaying or taking. They were obviously wonderful people, and it was absolutely fantastic to see them again. And we played
Curse Court with them last year, didn't we?
Yes, we did, and we played it to the correct rules last year when we played. It was just, you're like, oh my goodness. And then, of course, on Saturday morning, we played Curse Court again, and Ivan turned up to say hello, and then said, are we playing by the correct rules this time? And that was it. It was just like a total kind of, it was a wonderful amount of embarrassments. I don't care. It was kind of fine. I had some friends come and met them in Airecon so that was Chris and John. They came for a couple of, well, it wasn't. It was one of these things where they're not board gamers. And I said, well, tell you what, come along about 10:30. Once we're there, we can grab some lunch, and then you guys can do what you want. And it was this wonderful thing where we started off with I started off with Flip 7. No, it started off with Magical Athlete, because it's like roll and move, and they all recognise roll and move. And then we played Flip 7, which again, pretty easy. And then we played Curse Court, which was it was interesting to see the turnaround of people going, I'm just placing this in a space and making sure that I'm being nice to about 2 or 3 goes in where one of the guys went, "Nah, I'm gonna stuff you over here," and it was that little thing. They ended up staying till 5 o'clock, so they arrived at like 10:30
Nice.
and ended up staying till 5 o'clock. So we ended up playing like probably the funniest game of kind of like Magical Athlete kind of going. Of Magical, have you played?
No, I
Magical
fully
Athlete?
understand how it works. Yeah.
Right, but it is become one of these kind of like emergent, I don't know the best way to describe it, emergent comedy kind of games. It doesn't mean to be funny, and it's really weird because you'll have, depending on the characters, you're either going to get a perfect storm of banality or a perfect storm of absolute genius. And what happened to us is, like, when we were playing this second game of Magical Athlete, which for people who aren't aware, it is quite literally, you've got a cast of different characters, all that have different kind of special powers. It's a roll and move game, so you'll roll a dice and you'll move your character, but sometimes your character will be able to use like their special move depending. So some of them are basically, you've got a character that, like the genius, that if you guess what you're going to roll, you get another shot. You get another roll that makes everybody kind of like they move one space slower. You've got another character, the banana, that if anybody passes them, they fall over. So if you fall over, you basically trip, which means you miss your next go, but you just stand up so you're ready to go again. You've got like the Babazook, where basically anybody that, is it the Babazook or the Baba Yaga?
Baba Yaga.
Maybe the Baba Yaga. And everybody who, either if they land in your space or you land in their space, you trip up. You've got the party animal that pulls everybody one space towards you. You've got the
big baby.
You've got the twins that copy a previous one, or you've got the big baby that's literally a big baby that takes up all of the squares. You've got, you've got the guy, the long legs guy that either moves 5 spaces or moves the rolled dice. You've got the dice monger that allows people. It's all these just different wonderful basic characters that, depending on every round, well, in every game there's 4 races, and in every round you pick one of 4 racers that you have selected through like a snake draft, and you'll get either races where literally everybody just rolls the dice and you'll make your way around. You get to the end, the first person gets whatever many points, 4 points, 5 points, or whatever, depending on the round. Second person gets smaller amount of points. Everybody else gets nothing. But sometimes what happens is you get like this situation that we had on the second game on Saturday, where people were literally in tears and holding their sides, because I had a character that basically, I think it was, I ended up just going forward and moving 2 and getting to the very, very end, and it left all the other 4 players there. Now, one of them was the party animal, so basically pulled everybody towards them. One of them was the Baba Yaga, which meant that everybody tripped. So we got into this situation where every single round people were standing up. The coach then pulled everybody towards them. Everybody tripped again and fell down. Nobody was going anywhere because nobody could like roll a dice to kind of get away. And on paper it sounded like the most ridiculous, banal way for people to be cracking up, but the entirety of the race was just absolutely hilarious. And that's why Magical Athlete kind of has become a game that if people say, do you want to play Magical Athlete, it's very good, because I can bring anybody in. I mean, we played it on Friday there, and we had like another 2 people who had never played the game before playing it again. And at the end of it, they were like, it's really interesting because you get people who, you get the people who are very kind of, they're very thinky and strategy based, and they'll look at how they can, like, how can I possibly win this game? And they realise pretty quickly that there isn't a way to strategize winning this game. You just need to roll your dice and make sure that you kind of get up and see what you can do and stuff like that. And it's all based on the character you play. So I played Magical Athlete like kind of like several times alongside kind of Curse Core, and I always had that kind of amazing, brilliant time. And as I said, it was lovely to kind of see kind of Chris and John and kind of like spend some quality time. And actually, I think one of them, kind of as they walked out, I says, "Oh, well, okay, well, thanks for coming round. It's great to see you," and blah, blah, blah. And they says, "Oh, I'm actually going to go via the shops and see if I can pick up a couple of games." And I was like, "One of us, one of us," which is always kind of good. I played a few games with Chris and Sam. I think we played Risk Express, the Reiner Knizia. Like, you played, I mean, Risk is basically rolling. So Risk Express is like rolling the dice. You get like a little continent on like what looks like a beer coaster, and it's got a certain number of dice icons, and you roll the dice. And then if the rolled dice match one of the icons, because the icons are on different lines, you get to roll again. No, you roll the dice, you get to match them up, and then you get to match the other dice that's there, and if the dice are wrong, then you get to kind of re-roll them and stuff like that. But Chris decided that he was going to play with rules that he guessed, which were completely wrong from the way we were doing. And we were like talking about playing like a bigger game, like Scythe or Star Wars Rebellion. And we're like, I swear, we're like 30 minutes into this game, and we're like going, nobody is getting anywhere. And then something, I don't know if it was either, I think Chris or it was maybe Sam or maybe Chris himself went, hang on, let's have a look at the rules. And the first thing it says is, he was like saying, okay, you pick the country that you want, then you roll the dice. And what we should have been doing was rolling the dice first and then seeing which country we could pick, and it made such a difference because you knew what dice you were meant to be able to do it. So that was incredibly good. It was not meant to be a fun game, but it certainly had a kind of like a couple of laughs. It was, yeah, spent a lot of time with obviously Ian from the Giant Brain, his friend Simon. It was great to see him. Bumped into Matthew Jude as well. It was just I saw him outside the Bring and Buy, so I bought him.
He's always snootling around the Bring and Buy. He's always looking for some random little Knizia card game or something like that, you know. Something
like that. I saw the boys from Polyhedron Collider, so that was Andy, Steve and Rory that I've never met before in my life, but it's one of these things you've known somebody for years but you've never actually met them.
Yeah.
And then when you meet them, it's like there's none of that awkwardness because you obviously know how to do them.
Did you see Frank West?
And obviously the love.
Is Frank West there?
No! Frank was not there. Frank West was not there. He wasn't present or pressed in his vest. He wasn't stressed. No Frank West. It's like, what's standing beside you and invisible? No Frank West. Basically. He wasn't there. I don't know. Apparently, according to social media, he's taken up a new hobby of like rowing or something like that. I've seen that. Yeah, something like that. Anyway. Played Courtesans.
Oh,
You've played Courtesans, haven't you? Yeah. Yes, and it's amazing. So I played that.
Good convention game.
I think
Good.
Yeah,
good
it's a lovely convention game. It's a lovely kind of playing. Played that with Ian, with Kath and Ava and Simon, and did dreadfully at it. Played a kind of a pick up and delivery game called Batam, which comes in like a beautiful box, and it's about shipping stuff about and things like that. That's kind of nice. I'd like to play it again. It's a bit kind of rolling dice and then deciding, and then rolling dice and then using your dice to select which ship you're going to be on, and then each player has their own ship that they move, and other players use their ship to kind of like gain money, and it's weird. It's
Good.
Not weird. It's quite straightforward. It's quite fun. It didn't kind of. It was lovely. It was lovely looking. I also played Epic Spell Wars Battle Wizards.
BATAM. Batam.
Yes, Batam.
Epic what?
Lovely. Epic Spell Wars Battle Wizards.
Oh, I've heard about it. Yes, good. I know of it.
That is literally.
Is it good?
Do you know those games where you used to like fold a piece of paper into three, and you would like draw like a head on something, and then you pass it to somebody. They would draw a body, and then you pass it to somebody and do it like. So imagine. Well, it's not like, but it's like you're kind of like you get you get like a deck of cards, and they've got 3 parts of a spell. The kind of like the power, the direction, and the source or whatever. And you've got to create a spell, and that spell has words all in it that makes a super spell, and it has different effects on different players and stuff like that. And it's just it's madcap. It's madcap fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really strange. Some of the illustrations on it are like a bit creepy. Like you've got one wizard like with like a pair of like holding up a pair of pink panties, and you're just like, it's just a bit. Some of the spells are a bit. It's just a bit
Wizards
weird.
can have pink panties too, you know.
I know, but it doesn't mean I can't judge them.
True.
Doesn't mean I can't judge them.
And
that was good fun though. I like that. I like that. Eternal Decks.
I want to know about this. Yes. Tell me about Eternal Decks.
I've got two. I've got Moon Colony Bloodbath because I left at the end, and I've also got Eternal Decks.
Well then, tell me about Eternal Decks and why is it getting a bit of hype behind it? Hopefully it's not just because it's a bit hard to get hold of.
I had because I saw because I sometimes check out kind of like what Game of the Year videos are. And I always thought it was strange at the time. I think it was No Pun Included that made it their Game of the Year. And I think EFCA kind of caveated it at the beginning to say, oh, you can't really get this game. And I was just like, all right, well. Okay, that's fair enough. But give him his dues.
Is it really good, is it?
It's really good. Now let me just explain it. So the story is, the story behind it is neither here nor there. It's about basically the world is dying, and you've got to kind of basically resurrect elementals, and these elementals are going to basically help the world and craft an egg, and it doesn't really matter one way or another, but it is essentially like it's a non-communication game. It's a non-communication
So it's cooperative
playing game. So basically, you'll start off with a deck of cards. You'll start with 5 cards. There's 4 tracks where you can play cards. There's gems that you can get to kind of thwart elementals' powers when they're unleashed. But basically, you're trying to play cards in order to win gems to kind of basically satisfy requirements and also unlock new decks, because you have a finite number of cards. You've got 5 cards to begin with. So what you'll do is you'll have a track, and this is the good thing about it. This is where the longevity comes into it. The tracks themselves can change, but the basic game is you're going to be playing cards which go from 1 to 9. Or you're going to be playing cards that go to 9 to 1. Or you've got to play cards which follow general rules, that you can't play cards that match number or colour together. Or you can play any type of card in kind of like this row, and this eventually allows you to get kind of like it allows you to kind of get like a kind of a joker card that you can play. But you're not allowed to talk at all. You know that you've got a certain number of cards. Everybody knows that I've got a certain number of cards. You've got a deck. You've got cards from, 1 to 5 or whatever. You have like little chits that you can put down when you know you can play a card in a certain area. So you're not allowed to say, right, I've got a 5, I've got a 4. You can put it down and say, right, okay, well, I can, put it down a marker, and that you're basically telling people that you can play the next 5 or the next 4. And it's the same, and as you get to the end of a row, you're trying to work together to make sure that everybody's got cards. And some of the time you're trying to get an objective so you can fulfill an objective, and another time you're just trying to get something to the end of the row so that the person on the end can get a deck of cards. Because if you run out of the cards, then that's it. It's a complete co-op game. and the game's kind of over.
Right.
But where it works and where it becomes lovely is this constant battle where there's always an underlying pressure on the game as you play, where you're looking back and forward and just saying, look, I've only got 1 card left, I need you to help me here. Or I've got 5 cards left, I can help anybody. Or I've just picked up a deck, and each of the decks has a different, maybe has different colours of cards and different numbers of cards. Because when you pick up like a deck of cards, you pick up the deck of cards, but then you'll also pick up an Eternal, and this Eternal will get played into the top row, and they have conditions, and they'll force conditions on the game. Like some of them will say, basically my condition is, somebody's got a deck of cards, but nobody can play ones now, or nobody can play red cards now, or nobody can play green cards now. So you're then forced into a situation where all of a sudden it's like, well, I need a deck, that's great, but if you get this deck, I can't help anyone else, kind of thing. So it's kind of balancing it up. But it looks lovely. Absolutely wonderful. People are buying French versions of this game, and then they're downloading and they're printing out like the English rules, and they're printing out the English cheat sheet. And at the beginning, when I first saw it, I was like, I don't know why. I mean, it doesn't look like anything kind of fantastic or anything like that. But once you got to the end of the kind of like the first game, where's that constant pressure? Sam and Chris, they were talking about it recently on their and they kind of put it along the same lines as kind of like Sky Team.
Mm.
It's got that kind of pressure where nobody's talking to each other. You're not allowed to coerce anybody, but it kind of moves along, and everybody is kind of like, you're looking from left to right to see who can help each other, and then somebody puts down a disc, and then somebody else puts down the next disc, and then somebody else puts down the next disc next to that, and you know that the next kind of 3 cards can kind of be played. So you end up with this beautiful situation where you see like something looks like hopeless, and then all of a sudden a kind of a solution kind of presents itself. And there's so many kind of permeations of the kind of game that you can play, because on this mat, this like lovely kind of satin mat, the way the entire game is set up is by you put down certain cards. So yes, the first stage is like, I'm going to be putting down cards that they're going to go from 1 to 9, 9 to 1, and then any cards, but that one might change and say, well, you can only put down cards which are 1, 3, 5 and 7,
right.
Or you can only put down odd numbers, or you can only put down red 1, green 3. They really can get, and it makes it's kind of like ramping up the difficulty that you get like in Sky Team or something like that. It kind of ramps it up kind of slowly. It is a game that I think it's a game that it's like everything else. You need to kind of own it, and then you need to kind of be... I can see people this is the game that they play for like the next 2 or 3 months to get kind of out of it. You know how Bomb Busters starts off kind of very, very simply, and then you're in the situation where you'll play a game and you feel like absolute geniuses. You feel like you're fully kind of tapped into the kind of this central kind of mind storm kind of thing, and everything's kind of working, and you're going, I've got a 4 and you've got a 7 and we've got an 8, and clip, 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 and everything's kind of going so well. Eternal Decks is that kind of same kind of thing where you're either going to kind of win together or you're going to kind of lose together. And there's not, and because of the whole lack of communication kind of thing, again, there's not really, and because everybody's kind of, they've got like an equal set of kind of cards or an equal set of resources that they can bring to play, there's not really, you don't really get this kind of pandemic kind of quarterbacking kind of thing, which you can get with like a lot of cooperative kind of games. Sometimes you feel like even in like the Lord of the Rings game, you can sometimes feel like you're just a passenger. You're kind of playing, but there's no point in you making a real decision here, because the real decision, the decision that you have to make is obviously this one. Because if you make any other decision, you're just gonna
just stupid.
you're gonna like destroy the kind of the mission, kind of thing. So, and it's very, very easy to it's very, very easy to learn, and it does look absolutely stunning.
Very striking.
But unfortunately, it's not a game that you could I don't think it's a game you could get away with just picking it up and playing if you had like the French version, unless you're Flav, then you'd be fine.
Yeah.
But he's laughing.
So what you're saying is the French could get away with picking up the French version, but yeah.
Yeah. Flav could probably get like a little sideline business of just like creating kind of like translations for Eternal Decks in his own little thing, and he'd probably make he'd probably make a nice little.
I think that's Lucky Duck's business. That's what they do. They do so much localization, basically.
And it plays really. It plays relatively quite quickly, but it is very, very kind of Moorish. And I can see if it's one of these games that you think if somebody else picked it up and decided to run with it and print some copies, they would sell out within kind of minutes. It's not necessarily striking me as like one of these FOMO games as well.
It gives you that similar vibe as the Gang. Yeah, it's that sort of feel. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
but more of the
like,
level of a
Sky
Bombusters
Team
kind of game.
Yeah, it's kind of, I'd say it's closer to Bombusters than it is going to be like Gang's fairly kind of. It's kind of above the Gang in terms of like non-communication kind of superficiality. The Gang is literally like, oh, I'm putting this here. Eternal Decks is basically, I've got my, because when you get an additional deck of cards, anyone can look at the Eternal that's been placed and they can see what cards you've got. So you've got an ability to kind of look at it and go, oh, right, well, I know now that you're going to have these cards available to play potentially. On your go, you're only drawing up to a certain number of cards each turn, but you have a good idea of what potentially other players are going to have if they've got that kind of Eternal kind of deck. If that makes kind of sense. But I think if you guys... Like the group you're playing with just now, if they're loving the Bombuster kind of stuff, they're gonna love Eternal Decks. I think it's worthwhile.
Also, if you're loving the Bombuster stuff and you've still got half of the Bombuster stuff to go, would you actually bother with Eternal Decks?
Yes. I think
do they scratch a very similar itch?
Yes, I'm gonna say they do. I think it's kind of. I think there's more hidden information in Bombusters. I think Eternal Decks definitely seems more directly cooperative, whereas Bombusters is kind of less so. It's kind of requiring a little bit more of a logic puzzle. Uh-huh. Eternal Decks is basically, I'm not allowed to tell you what cards I've got, but looking down there at the Eternal I've just picked up, and my disc I've just played to show you where I can win here, then I think it's Bombusters to me is still a little bit more kind of cryptic and number crunchy over kind of Eternal Decks. I think it'd be worthwhile having it if you did like Bombusters. Yeah. I think it gives a level of cooperation but slightly different enough to warrant kind of picking it up and purchasing it. Yeah.
Well, I'll definitely try it if I ever get a chance. My French isn't good enough to pick up a French copy.
The thing is, I think on BGG they've got somebody's gone ahead and kind of translated all the rules and translated the guides and stuff like that as well, so you can pretty much go into BGG and you can print it all out anyway. So it's kind of pretty cool.
Well, I've no doubt in a few months it'll be perfectly available.
I think it's October. I think they're potentially
October.
I think for the next shipment of kind of English versions, I think it depends. I mean, I've seen I have seen people selling it on eBay for like £90, £100 and stuff like that. And it's just like, you're just ruining it for everybody else. I mean, if you don't want a game and you know that other people kind of want a game, unless it's kind of like going to be a ground-breaking game that's never ever going to exist again, then come on. You know, I understand, but profits, profit. There's a difference between making a little profit and blatantly kind of profiteering.
There was another game you mentioned.
The other game that is Moon Colony Bloodbath.
Oh, yeah. So when I first heard of Moon Colony Bloodbath and I got like the gist of what it was about, stuff, I thought, oh, this sounds like a bit of me, this sounds like one for my group. And then I kind of saw the production of it. Then I saw people play it and I was a bit like, I don't know. What did you think of it? It doesn't look very nicely produced. I don't like the style of it.
I think it's going to be pretty hit and miss on the style stuff.
Right, okay, yeah.
There's some questionable art decisions regarding one of the characters particularly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've gone for kind of like the stereotypical, here's a stereotypical kind of Rastafarian guy. And some of the stuff that's on there, it's just like, okay, you didn't have to do that. The game, it reminds me of, have you ever played The Captain is Dead?
Yes.
Yes. So imagine that. It's like a series of continually, of situations that kind of get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And eventually, one of you is going to die. And when one of you dies, it's like kind of like game over. So literally, it's kind of like you have a deck of cards, and the deck of cards on every round, kind of the cards are flipped over on this deck, and you have certain actions. So you get like the work action, and the work action allows you to kind of like farm or create resources or and things like that. But the work action doesn't happen all the time. And then there's things that you're allowed to kind of like build, so you can build kind of facilities above your unit to improve it, to mean that the next time you do a build action it's more powerful, or a farm action is more powerful, and then you've got your own little kind of population that you're kind of going to look at. But as time goes on on the deck, you're adding in more nasty stuff into the deck. And you start off with like 30 colonists on your individual kind of colony that you've got. And what is going to happen is that they're basically going to get murdered. And you have to try and mitigate this as much as possible. And it seemed to be kind of like you're definitely going to lose. It's just a matter of time before, seeing how long it is before you kind of lose.
It's like Ponzi scheme.
And yeah, like that's I was gonna say like just like Ponzi scheme, except without. It's lacking the kind of the social aspect of Ponzi scheme, which makes Ponzi scheme so absolutely fabulous. That made that gave that kind of game moment. I think like The Captain is Dead, where you're kind of like the cards kind of get worse and you're moving from amber alert to red alert until like things are going, that things are definitely going to shit and you're possibly going to die. I think Moon Colony Bloodbath is either people are going to have a good experience and they're going to want to play it again and again and again, or they're going to have a bad experience and they're going to say, right, this is a game I've played and I'm not going to kind of go back to it again. Right. It depends if you feel like slowly losing a game over a long period of time is something that you're going to enjoy. And I got to the end of the game and I went, yeah, it seems fine, but it depends on the first experience of your game. If you get a good experience in your first experience of your game, and if you play it, I think again, it's like you have to play it a couple of times just to see how bad things can get. If you were fluky the first time, you managed to get through pretty far, or if you had enough, or if you weren't fluky at all and you died pretty quickly, I can see it kind of putting people off. I kind of walked away from it. Like Paul was so impressed with it that he went ahead and bought it because it was Simon's copy that we played, right. And Paul went ahead and he went ahead and he bought it. and I'm quite happy to play it again, but I'm not kind of rushing into playing it again. It was fine. It's not one of these games like... it wasn't like Eternal Decks where I got to the end of the game with Eternal Decks and I went, I can absolutely bloody see why everybody's kind of going on about this game and want to get a hold of it. It's like, Moon Colony Bloodbath was kind of like, I can kind of see why some people might really, really like this game and want it in their collection. And I will probably play it again, but I'm not looking to kind of own it myself, if that kind of makes sense, But that was the main ones. In terms of like buying stuff, I didn't really buy anything. I mean, I went to the Hachette stand and I rolled the dice, and I got a copy of Zhanggu, which is, I'll go and get it.
I need to see it. I think I know.
Noisy
I think I know the game you mean, but I can't think what it looks like. Oh yeah.
Here.
I had the old version of that. Yeah.
Any good?
Yeah, it's a. For me, it was a slightly anonymous Euro, but yes, it is a solid. It's one of those games where I played it and my mate Steve absolutely loved it, so I sold it to him. And it was one of those games where I played it and I was like, I could see certain people just shitting the bed over this. They will absolutely love it. This will be their one they champion all the time kind of thing. And I remember it being nice. Yeah.
I do like it. I do like a gentle kind of Euro now and again. We
I
played
wouldn't say
El
it's quite a
Grande as
gentle
well.
one. I would say it's if it is a new version of the one I had. It's a bit of a tough Euro.
Is it?
Yeah,
crunchy?
a little bit crunchy. Yeah,
crunchy and tough. All right, okay. Yeah, I don't mind that. I'm getting into that. I've played if I'm in the mood, I do like to kind of sit there and do my little calculations and stuff like that. I don't mind that
yes,
at all.
It is the old one I had. Yeah.
All right, okay. Did I mention I played El Grande as well?
Yes, you did. Yes. And I've always wanted to play I've always wanted to try El Grande because I don't think I even realised there was a new version till you told me that the other weekend.
It's lovely looking.
Who makes it?
It's a lovely game. Oh, don't ask me questions like that when I don't know the answer.
I'm saying it as I'm looking it up.
It is a rhetorical question.
It looks like whoever the same people who made... Oh, it's Zuckum Gluck? No, Handsome Gluck.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not that expensive. It's only about 30 odd quid.
Such a classic, though, El Grande, isn't it? It's like...
Here's a joke for you. I've literally... Do you know, I was looking at... as a quick aside, I had been looking at Eternal Decks on eBay, and somebody has got a copy up for £125.50 for Eternal Decks, the UK English version, and it's got... I'm delighted, flipping the finger, I'm delighted to see that it's got 0 bids and it's got 13 minutes left. So I hope you get no bids at all, you actual scalper, because there's no need. What was your need for that nonsense?
What was your unexpected gem of a game of the convention?
I'm trying to think. My unexpected gem. I think it has. I mean, Eternal Decks was definitely I kind of went into it I'm an old cynical man, and when I kind of go into these things, I was kind of like, yeah, well, how kind of good can it be? And I was like pleasantly surprised. I would also probably say that the number of times that we played Magical Athlete, that kind of really I mean, I played it there Friday. Just there, I played it again, so I must say that that's kind of like every time I've sat down with that game so far, it's been, it's been absolutely the best. It's been so much fun. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I would say probably, I think a mixture between Magical Athlete and and Eternal Decks, really. There wasn't really any, we didn't really play that many games. I think this year when I went, because last year I took a pile of games and I didn't really play any of them, this year I took a pile of games that weren't really kind of big. I did take Rebellion, and like a Muppet, I did take Scythe as well, which I don't know why. I just went, I wonder if I can get a 5-player Scythe, and it's my Scythe has got everything in it. So I forgot how heavy the box was. So I was like, so I'm kind of like putting I got my game box bag. So I got my all play big box bag that you got. So I now look like I deliver pizzas. But I put Rebellion first, and then I put Scythe on top of it, which was a stupid boy mistake to do, because when I took Rebellion out, Rebellion had a big score in it, and the box was slightly dented now. Because Scythe has literally got, here's some metal tokens that are actually metal. Here's some wooden tokens that are actually wooden. Here's some metal coins. They are also metal. This game now weighs 60 kilograms kind of thing. It's just, it's the size of a small child or a big child, depending on where you go. In terms of laughs, I think... like, Risk Express was just ridiculous. I mean, it's just the fact, halfway through, Chris is like, it's like, did you look at the rules for this? I'm going to check the rules. He says, I just guessed. We found out the kind of the rules. And then, of course, I was able to say, you wouldn't catch me, like, giving the wrong rules to a game kind of thing. So that kind of, like, was like, that kind of cleared it away. The only thing I'll say is I felt that Airecon this year was quieter.
Really?
I've not seen the official figures, but it definitely, like Friday did feel a little bit quieter. Saturday, I think, continued as it was still very, 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 very busy up to kind of like kicking out time. But all in all, I don't know, maybe if I'm just used to it, and I guess I'm very much kind of like when we found our space to kind of like camp down and stuff like that for the evening. It was kind of cool, for the day. It's kind of like, here's our little kind of base, and we're kind of ready to kind of go and stuff like that. So that was kind of, so I felt like we're kind of like settled and relaxed, and we weren't. So it was kind of cool. But I did feel it was a little bit quieter than last year.
I haven't heard from Mark as to whether it was or not. I didn't ask him, though, to be fair, but he never mentioned that it was lower.
No, it was good. It was all in all.
Worst game of the convention.
Worst game of the convention that I played,
other than the one you taught wrong that you know how to play really well.
It's really difficult because shut up. It's difficult because they were all pretty kind of good fun.
So there was no games that you played that you just like, don't need to play that game again? Nope.
I think, right, in fairness, I think the Epic Spell Wars Battle Wizards, I kind of went, yeah, great, I played fine. That. I don't really need to...
That was fun. Yeah.
I don't really need to worry about that. It was good fun. We didn't, we had our little laughs, and we kind of lost our spell points, and, people died, and which is always fun. But yeah, I kind of walked away from that going, that's fine. I don't need to play that. I don't need to play that again. I'd like to play like El Grande. I'd like to play again. I know I'm going to play Tag Team again. Courtesans, if Courtesans turned up. I don't think there was anything else. I would need to... I think the only one, as I said, I've already said this, the one I'm not sure about, Moon Colony Bloodbath.
Yeah.
I would need to see how that kind of plays again. I mean, Simon, that it's his copy, he was like, this is brilliant, this is a really, really good game. And he was very kind of passionate about it, and he's obviously played it quite a few times that he really kind of enjoys it. And I'm just sitting there going, well, this is my first game. I'm leaving it kind of open, but yeah.
It definitely seems to give that vibe that you know when you get some games that are, when somebody loves it, they love it, and Moon Colony Bloodbath seems to do that, because I've seen people very much evangelizing it and saying how great it is, and then you'll get people instantly turn around saying, "Well, I thought it was a bit shit," and
I've seen people go as far as saying, "This is putting Rio Grande games back on the map again. This is the game that's kind of saving."
That's why it looks shit. I didn't realise it was made by Rio Grande. That makes sense now.
I'm pretty sure it's Rio Grande, and I'm pretty sure that's what people have been saying about it, is that, I'm pretty sure that's what... I'm going to double check this just in case.
Such awful, such dull-looking games. Have you ever played Beyond the Sun, I think it is? The Tech Tree game?
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely game. Really nice game. But
not lovely.
God alive, it looks awful.
People were playing it next door to us, and it looked like they were playing just like somebody had got a blue bit of cardboard and stuck some Tipex over it with a little line, some
stickers, and
I was just like,
a cracking game, or at least a pretty good game from what I remember. The one time I played it, which was Airecon, actually, Courtesans.
Yeah. So, looking forward to what's happening. I don't know if we're at the situation where Airecon can settle now that we've got the food sorted out, now that we've got the hotels. Because I went into the hotel and there's people are running RPGs and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, they were doing it. I think
they kind of moved.
Yeah.
They moved the RPG space into the Hilton, and from what I heard, the people that were doing the RPGs in the Hilton were absolutely delighted it was in that space as opposed to previously, because last year there was a hell of a lot of footfall traffic because people were kind of navigating through to get lunches and stuff like that. Navigating to go to the back parking lot kind of thing. So I think this year people kind of really liked it instead, which is pretty cool. But I'm looking forward to next year. As per usual, on the drive back up, we were hitting Edinburgh. It only took us 3 hours 45 minutes to get to Edinburgh. And then some muppet who decided to kind of do a home renovation and change their horse box into one of those travelling vans decided to have a crash. So we got stuck in traffic for half an hour and stuff like that, if not longer, and didn't get home until almost towards 5 o'clock, which is a great time to get in. Great time to get in, just in time for Mother's Day, I'll tell you. Yep.
Yes.
But yeah, looking forward to next year. It should be good fun. What about yourself, buddy? What have you been playing?
What have I been playing?
I mean, I know we'll wrap this up pretty soon.
So we cracked out because I didn't have time. We were going to play Arydia the other week, but I didn't have time to sort of get it all set up. So I just grabbed a few games. Bombusters was one of them. So we were like, oh, let's smash out some Bombusters and have just the best time. We're on to the third box, I think, now. And then the next week we played some more Arydia, and it's really good. It's doing really well. I'm really enjoying it.
I'm glad.
Very much is D&D in a box, D&D the board game in a box kind of job. But it's funny. It's we're sort of piecing things together, and then, we get a mention of this, and then we suddenly go oh, hang on, didn't somebody mention their brother or something like that? And lots of things coming together as we explore. So it's doing its job well. The production of it's great. He did such a good job. The fact that all the minis come out painted. They're really simple minis, and they're nice, but they've just got a really nice little paint job on them. It's all got this slightly cartoony kind of look about it. Just done a really good job.
Good stuff.
And then also, me and a couple of my mates, we played a really, really good game. It's called We Played God. And it's essentially a non-IP infringing Jurassic Park.
Oh, right.
So it's a miniatures game. It is the it is the least I give a shit about infringing on the IP, non-IP infringing game I've ever seen, because it might as well just say Jurassic Park throughout the entire fucking rule book. Yeah. But you play all the kind of bits of things, so it's all very sort of like scenario kind of, well, not scenario, yeah, scenario is kind of the thing. If you've ever played the Walking Dead miniatures game, it gives a very similar vibe. So in this, you would say, so if you played through the sort of campaign of it, an ongoing sort of thing, you could be like a manager, a park warden, a customer service, Tilbod kind of thing, or a security guy, or a Chris Pratt, I train velociraptors kind of guy, or a scientist or researcher or something like that. So all the people that might be on Jurassic Park. Then you would say, like, so obviously it's all gone to shit, and then where you've got your hideout is, so if you say where your hideout is, it might be one of the restaurants, it might be the visitor centre, it might be a this or that, and then that will dictate kind of who you've got available to you. So, like, who's more likely to be there? Well, a kid is one of the things you can be. So we had a little test run of it, and so my mate was I think he was an IT guy. Other guy was I think he was a manager or something like that, and I was a kid, and we were you're trying to get out your hideout to get some supplies and stuff like that. And then get back again. So we had this like a kind of restaurant building with a car park around it, some trees, and like a picnic area kind of thing. And two dinosaurs. So you roll to see, like, the scenario might say, right, there's two herbivores and there's one carnivore. So you roll to see what herbivores you've got. You roll to see what carnivore you've got. And then you put down supplies, and you kind of little whatever the scenario dictates, you've got to try and do that. And then, so if you've ever played, like I said, the Walking Dead game, the dinosaurs kind of very similar to the zombies or the walkers in Walking Dead, where they're vicious moving terrain is the best way to look at it.
Oh, right, okay.
So they're controlled by the game, and you're trying to work your way around it. So we played God Works very much. Again, very similarly to Walking Dead, it works with noise. So if you do something that makes noise, carnivores move towards it, herbivores move away from it. Then, in your turn, then when it gets around to a dinosaur's turn, each dinosaur does things in a different way. So a Dilophosaurus has a different way of prowling, and a Velociraptor or a T-Rex or whatever, and a Pachycephalosaurus or whatever. So you roll first of all to see if for instance the dinosaur has no person in their field of vision. Obviously then a carnivore would start hunting you and would react in a certain way. But then, so if they can't see anything, you'll first roll to see if they are hunting, like they've got the smell of something in the air, or if they're just prowling and whatever. And herbivores obviously more likely to just graze and carry on doing what they're doing. So a Dilophosaurus, once it's prowling, it will prowl in a certain way. Then you roll again to see what sort of thing it might do. It might move. It might say, like, move towards so and so, or this, that, whatever and stuff. And like sometimes it will just disappear off the board. It just disappears into the undergrowth kind of thing, and it will just suddenly come back and stuff like that. And obviously,
clever girl.
Yeah, exactly. Each of the characters obviously has different things. Like, for instance, I was the kid, and what I could do was I could be against a wall, and then if I could roll a certain thing, so my skill was fits through or tights. So essentially, thematically, I was able to fit through a little window or an air conditioning vent, so I could basically go through a wall where nobody normally could. Stuff like that. So
yeah.
But it was just great fun. It was really, really good fun having to play with it. That's from Blacksite Studios, who've done some really cool. They're kind of really cool indie miniatures game team. They do some really cool stuff. So looking forward to playing that more. So that was really good fun. And then last night, this isn't a this isn't a board game. This is a computer game. For a couple of my friends who I play Arydia with, and in fact the two guys we played God with. We used to play, and some of you will have remembered when I used to stream live and stuff like that. We used to play Valheim together. So anybody who does know me, that the two people I played Valheim with, that's the two people I'm playing this with. But we played this game with they'd said like, oh, I really fancy playing something online again. And I was like, I'm absolutely always up for that. No, if you've got anything in mind or whatever. And then we're in the pub on Friday night. And I said, oh, there's this game I remember seeing a little while ago. And I thought at the time, that looks like really good fun. If that would be a really good game to play. Never then thought anything more of it because we weren't really particularly playing anything like that at the time. Then they suggested this thing. So I said, so it's called RV There Yet. Right. RV as in recreational vehicle, big American Winnebago thing. So RV There Yet, play on RV There Yet. And in RV There Yet, you are a bunch of people in an RV and you're at your campsite and you've got to do a beer delivery to somebody else. I think that's the story behind it. So you are these kind of weird looking flesh-coloured minion-y people, very weird kind of cartoony look to you, and you've got this fucking great Winnebago thing, and you've got various tools and equipment and stuff like that, and you as a team you keep wanting to get to these checkpoints, which are like gas stations and stuff like that. And you've got to get across the terrain and through this place, and you're just constantly coming up against gaps in the road and off-road and stuff like that. It's all very cartoony and silly looking. Bears might randomly come out against you as well. Your RV's got a winch on the front and the back. So what will end up happening is, because you're obviously in this bloody great Winnebago, when you're driving it, your field of vision is terrible. You can't see what's in front of you and stuff like that. And you're going on all this exaggerated terrain. So you might be going... So your mates will be getting out and directing you and stuff like that, but it's also got proximity chat, so they can only be so far and stuff like that. So you've got controls to be able to move your hands independently, so you could sit there going like that, or stuff. So it's really good fun. So you'll get to a bit and you'll be like, oh god, love it. Then there might be some planks on the road, so you've got to try and get these planks down to try and get you over an old fallen bridge or something like that. Or reconstruct something, but then you might have like we had a simple left-hand turn on this bit, but the road had fallen away on the outside of the turn, so you couldn't just turn. So we ended up like, right, okay, so we'll put a winch out of the front and then get the whole front of it right over, and then we'd literally just drag the winch in and just drag the front end round. Now, I actually did, when we started it up last night, I suddenly thought, we used to stream all this. So I turned on OBS and I actually recorded the whole thing. So I might actually put together some clips of some of the bits, because, we played, I think, for best part of 3 hours, I think, maybe just under.
Wow.
And we were just we were dying laughing. It's so fucking funny. It's and it's brilliant. So, but like when you're driving, the thing driving the vehicle is hilarious, because it's, ironically, being an American thing, it's actually a manual gearbox on this thing. But so you actually have to clutch it. So you have to go clutch, and then so you have to so use WASD is most of your movement and stuff. But then Q is your clutch, and then your mouse will become your hand moving the gear stick. So it's constantly making you do all these things of you just like, rub your belly and scratch your head and put your finger in your ear kind of thing, and you just, it's just so much fun. And you've got you've got things where you've got to repair it all the time, and put it back together, and yeah, it's just so much fun. So much fun. It was really.
We could
Go on.
Put a clip on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll throw some bits together for it. But if you haven't seen it, just look up RV There Yet, the trailer, and it gives you a great idea as to how it plays, because
I shall have a look.
It's really, really good fun. It's got a great style to it. It's got really good fun music. It's just one of these brilliant little indie games. And I mean, even if it's not on sale on Steam, it's £6 like 50 or something like that. And at the moment, it's on sale at like £5.50, and I was like, that's like the best £5.50 I've ever spent. It's just,
It's absolutely no reason not to. Not to look all right, it's not that, and it's not that old as well.
No. It came out last year at some point, but
that's amazing.
For some reason, you guys can smoke. So like 1, 2, and 3, your controls for smoking. 1 is light a cigarette. 2 is take a drag from it. 3 is take your last drag and flick it away.
You just can't.
But when you
just can't see anything at all.
It's just your field of vision, despite having a big windscreen and you're up in this big hive, you just can't see squat. Kind of.
So,
and obviously it's real bouncy, and it's all been designed very, very well. And
it's £5. It's
literally
£5.
Yeah, £5.35. There you go. Yeah, I think it's £6.50 full price. And they've just released a new map as well.
Ridiculous.
So we're doing the first map, and then there's now like an icy map.
That looks like it'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
Wish I had friends.
No, it's great. So I'd recommend it to anybody. It's like I haven't played anything like that for ages. It was just so much fun to do.
Wonderful. So I think it's time to go. I think it's time to sign off. Next week, I shall be mostly playing. I'm just going to rattle this off very quickly. Next week, I shall be mostly playing Rebellion.
Are you actually playing?
I'm going to get the new rules to the table. I'm going to be playing it. Unsettled. I'm going to be playing that.
Oh yeah, what's making you get unsettled to the table?
And because my lovely wife is going to be away, and she's going to be seeing her parents, which means that I'm going to have time to sit down and get some longer games played, games that need a little bit more setup.
Are you playing
games
Unsettled solo? Is that what you mean? Or
no, we're going to be playing it in a little group.
Yes.
So should be good fun. I'm looking forward to that. Unsettled as well, and potentially the others, because I have to dig that out. I have to play that bloody game. I have to play. I was looking for the plastic tokens for that, so that should be good fun. So we're going to get that done next week. So there we go. Shall we go, Mr. Pryor?
Yes.
So thank you for listening. If you enjoyed what you listened to tonight, then you can check us out in various different places. Go to your podcast catcher of choice and give us a rating or review, because that's nice, because we've not had a rating in a little while now.
Oh, go on then. Be nice.
If you want to catch up on everything that we're up to, go to wearenotwizards.co.uk. If you just want to check out the podcast back catalogue and get your back on the catalogue, then go to wearenotwizards.com. Yes, and tell other people about us, because that is always wonderful and fantastic, and very, very much appreciated. But it's time to say goodbye. So it's a goodbye from the rather wonderful, rather fantastic Mr. Luke Pryor.
It's a goodbye from the rather Celtic and above the wall, beautiful Richard Simpson.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Remember, stay safe, roll sixes, make something awful, and
stay spicy.
I could never get used to it. But until the next time, goodbye.
Bye.
A wizard is never late. Nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.